Now that there's a lot of hype built up around Facebook shops, those people that are still selling on Facebook Marketplace are really seeing a lot of the benefits there, right? I think a lot of people are sleeping on personal marketplace, and realistically, Facebook is building up both platforms simultaneously. So while shops obviously has, a lot of benefits that personal does not, and I've talked about that in other videos, personal has a lot of benefits as well, and they're starting to introduce new features and upgrading that platform too. So in today's video, I want to talk about 3 new features that I'm really excited about on personal Facebook Marketplace. We'll cover each specifically, but ultimately this is a microcosm of the fact that Facebook isn't just done doing personal marketplace and now they're moving over to a more business type of approach with shops, right? They're still upgrading both platforms. Don't sleep on either, all right? So the first one that I want to talk about is the new ability to select all and renew feature. Slowly what happens is, well, let me jump back a little bit, right? So when you list a listing on Facebook, I'm sure as you know, if you don't, when you list a listing on Facebook, it has a shelf life, okay? And typically the shelf life is about 7 days, and then you can renew it to the top of the listing. Now, if you don't renew it, it slowly drops down and loses its visibility over time. So ideally you want to be renewing these. The issue in the past was it was a little bit more difficult to renew these listings because the way that you had to renew them was literally go in one by one and click renew. Now, if you're a reseller and you only have like a couple dozen or a couple hundred listings, it's not that big of a deal. But if you're drop shipping and you're listing hundreds or thousands of listings, it is a complete headache. Now though, there's a new feature where you can go in just like you would before. You go to Marketplace, you go to your little profile icon on mobile, and then you go down to the quick actions feature and renew. And they've been slowly honing this over time, but the new way that you can do it now is instead of just renewing them one by one, which it used to be, and then they actually moved it to renew them 20 at a time, and you could hit renew all at the bottom and it would just be 20 at a time, which still took a little bit of time if you have hundreds or thousands of listings. Now what you can do is you can hit that same renew button and then select all and just renew all the available listings. And it could be, depending on the time that you're doing it and how many listings you've listed in the past, it could be dozens, it could be hundreds even. Regardless, try it. It's really going to help you out, all right? It's going to save you a lot of time. It's going to bring your listings up and give them more visibility in Marketplace, which ultimately will mean more sales and more money in your pocket. The next one is the ability to search through orders, okay? So in the past, if you had a problem with an order, or realistically you needed to look at an order for any specific reason, but the typical reason was like you had an issue with an order or a customer asked where their order was from, and so you had to go back and find that order, right? They had no ability to search through your orders. On eBay, you can search orders very easily from inside your seller dashboard. On Amazon, same thing. You can search through orders very, very easily. Even on like Poshmark and Mercari, it's not difficult to find orders because you have active orders and then you have your past orders. And once the orders are done, like you don't have to worry about them anymore. On Facebook, you had the ability for up to 30 days potentially, and sometimes in specific cases a little bit more than that, to have to go back and find an order and rectify something for a customer. But this was a complete headache because you had to scroll down. You had to go to like your shipped past orders and then literally scroll all the way down to the bottom. And if you're doing hundreds or thousands of orders in a month or two's time, which a lot of drop shippers are, this is a complete nightmare. And a lot of times, like I don't have a bad computer, I have a good computer. And a lot of times like my computer would lag out because I'd be scrolling through and it would be loading like hundreds and thousands of orders at the same time, and it would just like glitch out and I couldn't find those orders. Well, now that problem is solved because you have the ability to go, whether it's an active order, whether it's a canceled order, whether it's a shipped order, you can sort that on the side and then go up to your orders and actually search for the order. You can't search for the customer's name, but what you can do is you can search for the actual title of the product, and then it'll show you the specific products of that or the specific orders of that product, and you can find it super easily. And finally, the last one is only available on mobile. But one thing that I've noticed is you have the ability to set a floor offer on mobile when you're setting your listings, right? Now this is good for people that are willing to take, a little bit less of a margin as long as it's still profitable. So ultimately, if you're marking your products up like 30% or 50%, right? You can set your floor, like the floor minimum offer, so that you're accepting offers, but it's only still at where you're profitable, and obviously you have to calculate that yourself. But you should already know that ultimately, like if you're tax exempt, or if you can see the specific listing and where you're sourcing it. If you're listing it for, 160 and for example it's selling for 100 or 105, well, you know your margin probably where you can take an offer, obviously you account for tax here, is probably like 110 bucks or 115 bucks or something like that, right? So this is gonna help a lot of people still be profitable, still accept offers, but you don't have to, before in the past you had to either choose like whether you wanted to accept offers or not, right? And I always said like don't accept offers because it's not really worth the hassle of like checking the product every single time to make sure you're profitable on that offer. But now you can do it when you're listing, or you can have your VAs do it when they're listing, and figure out what the actual floor offer that you can accept is, set that as the floor offer, and then just move on with your life. And then if you get an offer in the future, obviously you know it's profitable. So those are 3 features that they're slowly rolling out to upgrade personal Facebook marketplace. Again, Shops is great, I highly recommend it. There's some benefits to a shop that personal marketplace doesn't have, but don't sleep on personal either.